Welcome back to ONYX Financial Track. So in the previous lecture, we started a new module and we were talking about the accounts receivable. We covered the first two tabs in the screen, AR parameters, which were accounts receivable parameters and advanced options number 1. Now we will start with advanced options number 2. The first variable is don't install unavailable quantity from sales order to invoice. If you activate this variable and you're trying to issue an invoice from a sales order, then the system will only accept the available quantity, that is the one existing at the warehouse or warehouses in the facility. Allow sales order for non-stored items. Here the system will allow you to create a sales order for items that are not stored, like the service items, for example. Record customer name mandatory in cash invoice. Pretty obvious. If you activate this variable and you're going to issue a cash invoice, then the customer's name is mandatory. You have to put it in. Insert customer order expiry date mandatory. If you activate this variable, then in the customer order, you will get a field where you can put in the expiry date of this order. And by that date, if the order did not go through, then it would expire. Insert quotation expiry date mandatory, same idea. In the previous two variables, it is going to be mandatory to enter the expiry date, otherwise the transaction will not be saved. Check pricing limits for promotion quotation in Sales Invoice. If we have an ongoing promotion, then here the system will check the pricing limit that we've installed in the inventory module, and it will not exceed that limit. Check sales below stock cost for promotion quotation in Sales Invoice. If you activate this variable, then the system will prohibit any sale that is less than the actual cost. Check pricing limits from price after discount in Sales Invoice. So, in case we have a discount, then the system will check the price after the discount to see if it is within the limits or the pricing limits that we've set. Connect sales order with incoming. If you activate this variable, then you cannot receive incoming except with a sales order. Show sales representative commission in Sales Invoice. Pretty obvious. Use payment and receipt for invoice and returns. Activating this variable adds an icon in the invoice screen, and when you click on it, it will direct you to the receipt screen. And in the return screen, you will find an icon that will direct you to the payment screen. Allow update sales order warehouse in Sales Invoice. In case we're creating a sales invoice from a sales order, if you activate this variable, then you can change the warehouse that is on the sales order to a different one on the sales invoice. Allow update pay type for sales order in Sales Invoice. If we're creating an invoice from a sales order, then we can change the payment method on the invoice. Calculate sales invoice discount from total price after items discount. Now, this variable means that the system will calculate the sales invoice discount from the net price, that is in case there is an existing discount on the items on that invoice. So in other words, 2 discounts will be calculated for that invoice. One for the invoice itself and another for the items. View the items have available quantity in the list of items. If you activate this variable, then when you're creating a sales invoice, the system will only bring up the items that are available in the warehouse, but any items that are out of stock will not show. Install same previous invoice price when add new invoice from old. If you activate this variable and you're creating an invoice based on an older invoice, then the system will use the same prices that were on that old invoice. It will import it basically onto the new one. Convert sales invoice to consignment GRN automatic. If you activate this variable, then the system will allow the user to issue a sales invoice and receive the payment for it without having to actually dispatch the items from the warehouse. And it will consider the items that are on that invoice a consignment. We can keep track of it later on when it's basically dispatched. Post sales representative commission in receipt voucher. Here the system it will post the representative's commission after the customer pays. So in other words, The representative will not get paid unless the company gets its money first. Connect customer with multi-sales representatives. Connect sales representative with item activities. This means that we have specific representatives for specific items. Connect sales representative with warehouse, boxes, and cost center. You can link your representative with any of these things. Then we have maximum limit for items order on a certain date in sales order. This means that we can set a certain number of items as the highest limit we can put in a sales order on a certain date. Then we have maximum limit for customer order expiry date in days. Here we're setting a certain number of days on which we can process the customer's order, and after that date we will not be able to process the order. It will expire. So it's basically an expiry date. Maximum level for expiry quotation price in days. If we have a quotation, then when you can determine basically you can determine here the duration after which this quotation would expire, and you enter that duration in days, say 30 days, 45 days, or whatever suits the business. Maximum limit for items reservation in sales order in days. Most of the companies usually put in from 1 day to 3, and after that the reservation would expire. Alright, so then we have employee type, not use, single, and multi. And if we select not use, then we do not have to specify employees in the sales transactions. Single means that the transaction would be linked to a single employee. And multi, then the system will insert a column in the transactions, and you can specify an employee for each item. Item additional discount posting type. In the drop-down menu, we have two options: to group discount code or to add discount account definite in screen. The first option means that the discount would be posted to the discount account, then all of the discounts would be posted to a unified account. The second option, though, means that you will select the account to which the discount would be posted from the transaction screen. Cash customer code length and mobile number length for cash customer. Both of these fields determine the number of digits each of these codes would consist of. Return period in days, usually 14. Link with scale in sales order. This means that we can link the sales order to a specific scale from the ones that we discussed in the inventory module. Difference between the quantity of demand and actual weight. This basically sets the difference between the weight and the customer's order. The allowed difference will be entered in a certain percentage. Allowed to modify and measure price in sales. Activating this variable allows the user to change the price of the smallest measurable unit in the sales transaction. Allow duplicate reference number in transactions. Allow with alert, not allow. Now it's pretty self-explanatory. And we're actually done with this tab. We'll move on to advanced option number 3. Use discount card. If you activate this variable, then the system will let you use discount cards. Then we have use points system, and if it suits your business, then go ahead and activate it. And when you activate this variable, as you can see here, you can start working on the rest of the fields in this tab. You will pick the point calculation method, either by invoice or accumulative balances. The system can either calculate the points on each invoice separately or the invoices altogether. Then we have period for points approval in days. Here we will enter the days after which the points can be redeemed. Time age for points expiry. The options are end of year, by date of dealing, or by date of activation. End of year, that means by the end of each year, your points will expire. And by date of dealing, then the expiry date will be based on the date of the sales transaction itself. And by date of activation means that it depends on the period for points approval in days, that one that we enter here. and this will be considered the start of the duration, and the expiry date of these points will be the duration per month. So if we activate it today with the invoice itself, and we said that the duration per month is 10 months, then this is the time these points are active and can be redeemed. Then we have the field Note to Point Program Member. Here we're adding like a message for customers who have this point systems. For example, you are a special customer. The field after that is a note for non-member point program. And that one is going to be for customers who do not have the point system. So you will enter a message for those as well. Then we have method of sending message. How we are sending that message that we just typed. Not used means we're not sending anything. SMS, email, or both. Send message by optional means that we can select specific customers. All customers, then we're sending out these messages to all of our customers. Customer group is in case, of course, you have groups. Message text to customer when open account, you can put in something like welcome or anything like that. It's basically just a welcoming message for your new customers. And that is everything you need to know about the screen. So we're actually done with this lecture. Thank you guys for watching, and we will see you again.